What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the Order 66 raid, kind of give the impressions of what I've got with this raid so far, what I like, what I don't like, the good, the bad, the ugly, if you want to go that way. We've got the raid for a couple weeks now. We've gotten some teams out. We're doing some pretty good scores. You can see I'm running 10 million right now with those teams I'm running, which is going to be Bad Batch, Tarkin with the clones at Relic 7. I've got the 3-man Mace Windu team at Relic 9, and then I've got a couple of other Jedi Vanguard at Relic 7. They're also running their own team. So, you know, pulling pretty good scores there, but there is some stuff to be worried about that, which we're going to talk about this. We're going to break it all down, talk about what's good about this raid, what I think is going to be pretty good about this raid, some stuff I'm worried about, some things I think do need to get adjusted as well. We're going to break that all down. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into it. So let's start by talking about what I like. And I've got notes here that I'm going to pull up and just kind of go through as things go. So first thing I like is that, honestly, these fights go pretty quickly. These fights are going in about, 3-4 minutes, if that. And if something goes bad, it's going to be in the first wave, which is a polar opposite of what we got with the Naboo raid, where it felt like things really got off the rails at the end of the fight, but those fights were so unenjoyable to deal with that it was just frustration. You just throw on auto and you just try to get your score. With these fights, they're significantly quicker. There's 3 waves. First wave being the hardest because you have to deal with Fox and Appo. Perfect. I love that. I think that's a stark improvement from what we had with the Naboo raid. That, I think, is something they should really go forward with from now on for other thematic raids we get in the future. It's just easier. It's more tolerable. People aren't going to get burnt out on it so quickly. There is something to talk about that with bad when we get to that. There are still some issues with burnout that we can get to. But also the fact that you can just run some undersized teams for this. And this is also going to come back to where we are with teams and some raid nerfs. But I mean, this is kind of what I'm running right now. These 4 teams, and then I run a solo underneath it as well. So, you know, I've got Bad Batch, I've got Tarkin and the clones, I've got this 3-man Mace Windu team at Relic 9, you know, Depa, Temple Guard, and Master Mace Windu together. And then I'm running this Jedi Vanguard team with Keller and Beck Lee, with Shaak Ti, Jocasta, and Ayla. It can be run with smaller teams if you want to, but this really just takes the RNG out of it and makes this super easy to do. And that's a solid like 1.8 million right now with that team. 3.6 with this, 1.8, and this one's a little tricky, which we'll talk about in the bad section, but you could try to push 2.7 with the Bad Batch team right now, which I think I ended up with like 2.65 on my last run. So, you know, overall with that, plus a solo on the end, I get like 10 million score. Like, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. And you don't, it's just nice. Having these undersized teams and having like the ability to use a solo team. I used like Emphas Nest for my last solo. I also tried with Hondo and Tarkin to get some footage. So we can talk about those solo teams in an upcoming video. But yeah, I like that. And also it means I don't really have to worry about pirates, you know? I've got this pirate team down here, but I'll just take Hondo or Emphas Nest in for solo and get 300k. At that point, I'm still pushing 10 million, which is well above what our guild expects us to pull. And yeah, I'm pretty much set for this raid. I don't have to worry about pirates at all for this raid. I love that. I can just farm them leisurely if I want to, or just not farm at all, which is going to come back to bite us in the ugly section, which we'll talk about here in a second as well. But yeah, really, for most players out there, unless your guild's really pushing for like the 520 score on that final raid crate, really, I don't think you're going to have to worry about pirates here. You know, 10 million with this roster here, that's not bad. Now, granted, that's Relic 9. It's 3 Relic 9s right there, and Relic 8 Bad Batch. But still, you can look at something like 8 million with this team too, or with these teams as well. So, you know, it's not going to be bad. So, yeah, no need for pirates to farm. If you're really, unless your guild's obsessed with pushing for max crate, you're not going to have to worry about pirates. But the downside is, talk about the bad stuff. One of the bad things to note is that these fights, because they're so quick, and there's not a lot of strategy to them. Pretty much every strategy video says, go for Fox, kill him, get the buff, pop the buff, kill Appo, get his buff, pop the buff, and then fight the 3 waves of clone troopers. There's really not a lot of strategy. They're pretty straightforward. You know, for me as a content creator, it kind of makes those videos hard to do. I hate doing them because I'm like, yeah, so this fight, you wanna take out Fox, you wanna get his buff, then kill Appo, take his buff, and then kill some waves of clone troopers. And then the next fight is, yeah, so you want to take out Fox, get his buff, kill Appo, take his buff, and then kill the waves of clone troopers. Every strategy fight is pretty much the same. There's only like one or two I can think of, and that's like a solo with Hondo where you want to put captive on Appo at the start and then take out Fox. That's about it. That's really it. Yeah, there's not a lot there. So yeah, I would I'd be a little worried that eventually these fights are going to get so boring and not a lot of strategy, and they're so quick. People are eventually going to get kind of bored on them and probably just press auto. But I'm hoping that because these fights go so quickly, and because once you get past that first wave, you're just cruising through it. I'm hoping it doesn't really lead to a lot of burnout. But we're going to see how that performs in the long run. Other thing I want to put in the bad section is Bad Batch badly needs buffs. I talked to Meathead about this when I was giving my thoughts on the raid tuning for undersized teams, and I told him straight up, Bad Batch needs buffs. They need buffs badly. Badly. Anyways, yeah, so the glitch that we have right now, which we're going to talk about in the ugly section, is this faction bonus for Bad Batch at tier 7 is applying across all the tiers. And that's making them perform better than they should be. And the way that things are running right now, I'm trying to do without like using the mark, because the mark ability will force the character into stun, so you're kind of having to use abilities that don't mark, which means you don't get a lot of damage ramping quickly for Bad Batch at the start of the fight. Yeah, it's at Relegate, it's not pretty. That's why I'm not getting max score with Bad Batch right now, because I'm trying to do testing without that mark, because that's going to mess everything up. This is not going to be pretty when this glitch gets fixed for Bad Batch. But really beyond that, there is a hero bonus for Omega. I could have sworn there was a hero bonus for Omega, and I can't find it, but basically the hero bonus for Omega is whenever she dispels a buff, she gains 50% bonus tenacity, and then that's all you have. But look at all these. You have hero bonuses for like Jocasta Nu, these significant bonuses for Jedi Vanguard. You know, whenever Jedi Vanguard defeats an enemy, add an extra stack of Execute to Lord Vader. You know, Darkside Clone Troopers get some massive buffs with Order 66. Master Mace Windu gets a huge bonus with his hero bonus. There's a lot of bonuses for your Darkside clones, for your Jedi Vanguard, that make them really, really good. And Bad Batch doesn't really get a lot. So this is something I said before to Meathead, and I'm going to really keep pushing it. Bad Batch needs buffs, and they need them. It needs to be a thing. I don't know. Maybe if they nerf the teams for like the 2-man teams with Tarkin and clones, maybe they can swap some of these bonuses over to Bad Batch and make them a little bit better, because that team's not going to really work that well undersized. They just don't have the mechanics for it. But yeah, I would love to see some buffs for Bad Batch here somewhere, because they really do need it. We need some significant hero bonuses for them. Their faction bonuses just need to be better in general. And maybe that's intentional. Maybe they're trying to be like the Jawas, like in the Crate Dragon raid, how badly the Jawas performed. Maybe that's their goal here with Bad Batch, but Bad Batch being a newly farmable team versus Jawas, which have been in the game for forever, does not feel great. So yeah, I'm going to keep pushing it with Meathead. Bad Batch, they need buffs, and they need them like now, especially with that raid glitch getting fixed, which is going to lead to the next thing. The glitches and the lack of testing, which is going to get into the ugly section now. So, bugs and glitches. Yeah, we already talked about it. The faction bonus with Bad Batch here at tier 7 applying across all the tiers, like, makes Bad Batch much, much better. And it's making it trickier for us to realize or see how bad Bad Batch is going to perform in the long run. But it definitely, that's one that's like, yeah, man, you guys could have easily done some testing to figure out this was not working. And I think there are some issues between their live version and their test version where things don't quite work together. I know Bad Batch, when they first came out, the riposte wasn't allowing them to ignore protection, but it wasn't caught because on the test server for CG, the riposte was working. So for some reason, the live version didn't work. So they had to go back and fix that. Maybe I'm giving them benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's what happened here with Bad Batch. But beyond that, the fact that we have these undersized teams, like the fact that you can basically take your Darkside clones and split this into 2 separate teams, like Grand Moff Tarkin and Scorch on their own at Relic 9 get 3.6 million. And you can take the other 3 clones, though I think there's a new video that dropped last night of Appo and Disguised Clone Trooper on their own getting 3.6. So it's one of those things where you look at it and you say, okay, so like way overtuned in terms of how well these characters perform, but that's the point of testing. Why was this not caught? And that's what a lot of people are getting at, and that's, I think, why some people are mad about the potential nerfs coming to these teams, is because now you got people taking to Relic 9 for these teams, and they're going to turn around and suddenly they're nerfed. And I've already said it, I don't think these teams, I don't think you should be taking a two-man team of some of these guys and just absolutely dominating at Relic 9 and getting 3.6 million. Mace Windu and his team, I get it because Mace Windu is the featured character, but Tarkin and Scorch getting 3.6 million, and then like Apo and Disguised Clone Trooper getting another 3.6, that's a little too much. And again, if they had just tested things and they looked at how these mechanics are working, they could have said, hey, okay, we need to do some balancing because, yeah, now that it's live, they've opened up a whole nother can of worms. And we're going to see how things go. Maybe they do get balanced. We'll see what they do. But, yeah, that's not ideal. But the other thing, too, that I want to talk about here is free-to-play, especially right now, do not have a lot of options. Because, yeah, right now you've got Bad Batch, which is farmable. They're working on getting Tarkin and Disguised Clone Troopers to be farmable. Tarkin obviously is farmable, but the rest of the Disguised Clone Troopers are in various stages of being farmable. You're not going to be able to get Master Mace Windu because you can't farm the Disguised Clone Troopers. You got this Beck team, which is probably one of the more free-to-play friendly teams, but they also said in their balancing that Beck's performing too well. So are they going to nerf Beck and probably nerf one of the only few viable free-to-play teams that you have? So you've got like Beck, Shaak Ti, and Ayla. Jocasta, I'm going to say is free-to-play because it's Conquest character, which is also starting again today. So you should be able to get Jocasta new. And then at that point, you've got like this four-man team, which is going to work. So I'm going to say this is a free-to-play team. I know people are going to push back on it because it's a Conquest character. And your lower rosters aren't going to be able to get Jocasta, but for a lot of your established free-to-play, they should be able to get Jocasta new. So you've got Beck, you've got Bad Batch, and that's really it for free-to-play right now. Then you've got like pirate solos. You can bring like Hondo and Emphas for solos, and then Tarkin for another solo as well. And that's about all you've really got for free-to-play. This is by far the most free-to-play unfriendly team or raid that we've had yet. Just the fact that like most of the characters just aren't farmable. And the ones that aren't farmable don't perform too well or are apparently going to get nerfed because they're performing too well. So, yeah, free-to-play are not getting a lot of options, and yeah, it's not looking good for them. We're going to see how these nerfs pan out. But then I brought this up earlier in the good section. You know, I don't need to worry about pirates, and that's bad because CG, I can almost guarantee this is what's causing CG to kind of worry about the nerfs and adjusting some of these teams' performances, because if we're at the point where I don't need to farm pirates and I don't really need to worry about, I'm not really worried about the Galactic Legend Hondo, I'm not worried about the pirate teams in general, because as far as I know, they're going to be raid teams, but we're not going to be able to farm those for a while. And if I'm already getting 10 million with this, do I really need to worry about pirates? And I think CG is going to notice a lot of people are just not going to worry about pirates, and they're going to do some adjustments to make people want to be able to farm these more. That's what we saw with Bad Batch. You know, people skipped Bad Batch. So what did CG do? Made Bad Batch an Order 66 raid team. And that I think is what they're going to do here as well. They're going to nerf some of these teams. They're going to change adjustments. They're going to make these teams worse in the raid so that now we have a reason to go for pirates. And that I'm really worried about. And I know other people have talked about this as well. You know, they don't need to worry about pirates, and that's setting off alarms at CG. And yeah, we're going to see nerfs for something here. So that's really kind of my thoughts on it. I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys agree or disagree? What are your thoughts on the raid so far? How are you guys doing? Let me know down below. As always, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.